Welcome back to another episode of Strength in Words, a podcast about mental health and the Black experience. I am your host, B. King.
And I am your other host, Payton Hogan.
Today's topic today.
Damn.
I promise I didn't just wake up, but today's topic is relationships. When to know if you're in a toxic relationship, what it looks like, how to get out of it, and how to know if you're the toxic one in your relationships. I'm sure everybody has had a rough relationship once or twice, and some people out there we know constantly in tumultuous relationships. So it's a hot topic. It's a hot buzzword. And with everybody out there in the world who's been listening to some of these YouTube gurus or brothers out here with a podcast who really know what's up, women need to know their place, stay in the kitchen, or the fact that they got these modern day women who ain't happy with that, blah, blah. We done heard everything in the book. So I guess I want to dial it back a little bit from some of the most extreme stuff that we've been hearing and kind of talk about it to the more, to the common man and woman who's not these high profile, a six-figure, type of brothers who the high value man, the high value man, what you bring into the table, lagga.
Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, by the way. I didn't necessarily tune into his stuff, but he did have a wave, and brought a lot of people along with him. And unfortunately, he passed.
Yeah,
sooner than expected.
I just kind of stumbled upon Kevin Samuels through YouTube Shorts because I be cycling through stuff, and some of the stuff he says is really out of pocket, right? Like I can't help but laugh at some of the stuff he's saying. However, I do understand what he's trying to convey. Yeah. Right? There's something I literally heard him sit there and tell this woman, she was like, "I deserve a high value man." And he said, "Why?" He said, "You deserve a man that's making six figures. Why? When first of all, he got to come in and be a stepfather to your child." I said, "Well, hot damn." He said, "Two." He said, "How much do you weigh?"
Man.
She said 180. He said, "How tall are you?" She said 5'4". He said, "So you telling me you deserve a man who is a six-figure man when you weigh more than most men right now?" And he got to come in. He said just like this. He said, "So you telling me he got to come home to your fat ass?" And yes, just like that. Yes, he said and take care of your son for what? What you bringing to the table? Wrong answer. Nothing. Next. I said, "Yo, my God, you can't."
Yeah, he's wild.
He's wild. But I understood what he was trying to say to her because he told her she had to lower her expectations into what she was thinking. In her head, she brought so much to the table that she deserved a man who was making six figures and had to look a certain way, had to be a certain height, had to do X, Y, and Z. But for a man who hits those credentials or those qualifications, he would not be looking at someone like her who is overweight, has a kid, yada, yada. That's what he was trying to say to her, which I understood what he was trying to say. Not saying what he said was right, but his message to her was, you got to think about what you're actually saying. Yeah. Like, what makes you think that you're going to be able to pull somebody like that when you're not even bringing half of something like that to the table? And so I was like, but I think his message obviously gets lost in his presentation because
I think he presents like that on purpose.
Of course he does.
Everybody that come on that show,
that's his brand.
That's what I'm saying. Every last person that comes on that show, they know exactly what they about to get, and they still come to the show.
Hey, yo, listen, and you know what though? He ain't just like that towards women. So it wasn't like he was just women he was attacking. He was lighting dudes up. He was like, this dude says, "Well, what do you do for fun?" He goes, "Well, I like going to the gym." "That's great. What else?" And he says, "Well, I like to go out and do things that I didn't get to do as a child." He said, "That sounds like a you problem." I was like, He said, don't no woman give a damn about what you was deprived of as a kid. He said, how old are you? How much you weigh? He was like, I'm like 37 and I weigh like 196. He said, how tall are you? 5'10". He goes, no. He said, you need to be doing something different. He said, how much money you make? He said, I make a decent living. I make $40K a year. He said, you ain't doing nothing with your life. I was like, golly, man, quit hurting this boy. You ain't have to do it like that. So it was just that, like, again, his message saying is that, you know, you're almost 40. You are not in the best shape. You don't really do anything. You're not, and you don't make a quote unquote a lot of money for somebody who wants to be in a relationship and have a family. You're not going to be able to provide for your family on $40K by yourself. You need to be able to, if you want these things, if you want to be looked as an optimal mate for somebody or somebody who they want to, you need to bring more to the table than what you're doing. And right now, it's basic. You're not doing anything significant. So again, understand what he's trying to say, but his delivery is like, he might as well just be just blasting cats. He's like, you know what we gonna do today? We gonna go hunt pigeons with a shotgun. That's how he
literally.
That's how he goes about it. Just
tearing them all up.
Just tearing them all up. You're like, bro, it's a pigeon. You can hit it with a rubber band and it's done. He's like, no, we hit with shotguns.
I think he makes a good point. He makes a good point. Not with what he says, not with any of that, but the underlying theme, I think you were kind of getting at, is like unrealistic expectations when it comes to like mates and partners.
Right.
And I think part of that, like when we look at just like the culture of relationships, the culture of dating now, it's all based on social media. It's like, like that's what expectations are like. That's like the precedent. What you see on social media, what you see your favorite influencer doing, what you see the celebrities doing, like that's what I want out of my relationship.
And it's different. So like it's not a thing like that. Like, so Payton and I, we a little older, right? And our day and age of dating, the most we had was MySpace, right?
No, Black Planet. Were you ever on
hell no, I didn't touch.
You had
I did not touch Black Planet. Was so toxic. I could not do it.
Black Planet was my shit.
Yo, I kid you right. I kid you not. You literally just snatched me back to 2007. I forgot Black Planet existed because I didn't have it, but I have foster sisters who did, and they would get on there. And they were some of the most egregious, grossest, like just the place was just a cesspool of every.
That was throwback Tinder.
Oh my gosh,
that was throwback Tinder.
It was, and I had never seen so many damn near pedophiles in my life. There was a bunch of grown men trying to talk to or hook up with all these teenage girls. And I'm talking underage girls. Yeah. 15, 16-year-olds out here sending dick pics and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, son, it was wild. Oh, yeah. I was like, hell no. I don't even want to create an account here. This place is gross. I felt like I was walking into one of the middle of nowhere gas stations that you're you don't even want to you don't even want to touch the door handle. You're like, you're like, you know what? I'd rather pee outside. I'll be fine. I'll take my chances. Like it was like that. So, but our time of dating is quite a bit different. Is not the, it ain't the same. Mm-hmm. And these unrealistic expectations have really been facilitated through social media. It used to be Disney movies and media and books, right? But social media is so more
influential.
Yeah, it's influential. There's a word that it's parasocial.
Yeah.
It's so like you feel like you're just a step away from whatever it is, whoever you're looking at. But there's a whole different. It's a lie. Mm-hmm. You get, especially in the fitness world. Oh my gosh! Like
that's a whole nother episode.
It's a whole nother episode.
Man, them unrealistic expectations of. You know, you just do this workout 3 days a week.
3 days a week and you be built like Dwayne Johnson. You're like, hell no, that's a lie. That is a lie. Mm-hmm. But you see a lot of these guys who, and I bring this because they talk about their relationships, right? You see these dudes who are like, she didn't want me at my worst. And you see him just rowing. He's like, So now she can't have me at my best. Transition. Flex. Bob. And I'm like,
yeah, the little TikTok song. Yeah.
And I'm like, so either A, he's doing this for the clicks, or B, homeboy really out here struggling. I saw one, I couldn't help but laugh. The crap was so cringe to me. This dude sitting there, he edited super dark. He got the doggone, he's got his hood up. You can't see, you can barely see his face. He looked like Suspect from Def Jam 5 from New York.
Damn.
and it was, I think he's a white dude, so I couldn't, just how dark he made it. He's like, if you see someone like this in the gym, don't ask him how he's doing. He's not fine. I'm like, why are we promoting this? Why are we promoting, like, fight your demons in every way? Yes, exercise is great to help with your mental health. It's great to really, like, clear your mind and all that stuff. But at the same time, it can't be used as a coping mechanism to like shove, like, just hide down the pain. Like, you hear a lot of stuff where they talk about that. They're talking about, oh, I don't deal with my trauma. I just lift heavier stuff. Like, cool. But when you're done lifting heavy,
you're right back
it's still there. Like, it doesn't.
You're right back to it.
It doesn't go away. I don't care how swole you get. Like, it doesn't go away. I don't care how big your chest is, how fat your butt gets, how dominating your quads are. Yeah. If you're not dealing with whatever trauma it is it's gonna keep going. So
I ain't even gonna lie though, bro. I used to be one of those, man. When I was 19 years old, I was on drug court, and I had first got in shape, bro. Like, man, I remember this is where I went from like 290 to 213 in a matter of like, it was like 6-7 months.
Yeah, that's all right.
Lost it all, bro, and I was in that gym every day, just stressed, depressed. But I'm in there just, I would be in there for like 3 hours.
But that stuff didn't go away.
No, it sure didn't. It sure didn't. If I felt good.
You felt good it's because there's that dopamine hit.
Yeah,
you got that pump. Let me tell you something. Anybody who has never been in the gym, right? If you don't go to the gym, that's not your life. You don't understand the power of the pump. Like, so a pump is when your blood is just circulating, it's oxidating through your body really quick, and you basically everything swells up, right? You did a couple curls, couple presses, everything's flowing through. You feeling like, yeah, my veins start popping and stuff. Yeah. I go from feeling like the average everyday Joe to all of a sudden now I'm a god on Ultra Instinct. Just swerving cats. I'm sitting thinking, no one can stop me now. And then, just like anything else, you step out of that gym, just kind of dissipates. You're like, oh, I'm back. It's like getting drunk for a second, getting high. You all of a sudden just like you sober up and you go, well, what was I doing?
Now we're back. Yeah.
So it does. It really hits, and like whatever issues or problems that are there in the moment, they're gone. And whatever you're in the moment with, you feel like I said, for me, I feel like I'm on a whole different level. I'm like, I am a god. You cannot touch me. Bow down, mortals. And then, obviously, you come back, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm
still got this shit here.
Still got this problem. Fuck. And so, yeah, you got to deal with those things. And a lot of those guys, a lot of them are talking about relationships. What was going on in the relationship? What demons they're exercising from that relationship, or the damage that was done. And I mean, and you and I both have had previous relationships that have been a bit
different.
Different is the correct word. I was looking for a definitely more nicer way, but yeah, it's been different. And so we've learned some stuff, and you obviously have a background in the mental health aspect, so you get to dive a little bit deeper into like the effects of some of these things and how to deal with or cope with some of the scars that may come, or some of the issues that you may either bring in or come out of that relationship with. A lot of people, they go into relationships. Everybody goes, I don't need a relationship that come with baggage. Joke's on you. Everybody got baggage.
Yeah, every relationship comes with baggage. Every last one.
And you don't know where that baggage is coming from. That baggage should be coming from childhood, from adulthood, you could be the baggage. You could be creating the baggage, packing the new suitcase for them.
There you go.
You have no idea. And so it's an unrealistic expectation to think that you're going to walk into somebody's relationship or get a new relationship with somebody who's perfect. Because first and foremost, one, nobody is perfect. So it's a two-way street. You have to bring something to the table of, you know, growing with that person, and so do they. And you guys are going to butt heads or, you know, not see eye to eye on everything. Like I don't know a single relationship that does see eye to eye on everything.
You actually shouldn't see eye to eye on things. The moment that you see eye to eye on everything is the moment that you'll start to lose interest in shit. You know, honestly, like if everything was just
genuinely
like this,
too, because there's that seeing eye to eye on everything.
Yeah,
but there's also like that fake crap.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like if we agreed on everything, then things would just start to become like autopilot. And
it's an echo chamber.
Yeah, you lose it. It would lose that spark, or it might not ever actually have like a spark. You know what I'm saying? Because like shit already. It's almost like it would just become like a well-oiled machine that I never had to put any intention into.
I didn't have to put any work in.
Yeah, none.
Now, with that said, you can get I'm somebody who likes a well-oiled machine, right?
You want a well-oiled.
But you upgrade.
Yeah, there
you
go.
add more to it. So even if you end up in a new relationship and it is something that it's like everything's going smooth, that's why everybody feels dangerous, right? They're like, everything's going good.
Something's about to happen.
Something's wrong. But there are some people who have those relationships where it is like everything's smooth. Their communication is smooth. This is smooth. Everything's good. And because it gives them this opportunity to expand on it, right? They take that machine that's like, well, this machine's going great. How can we make this machine better? What upgrades can we add to it? What more can we do to create and enhance this machine that is our relationship? And those are the type of relationships I personally find satisfaction in. And that's not just through like romantic relationships. That's just even friendships and partnerships. Like, I like well-oiled machines. I like stuff that's running smooth. I need stuff to run smooth. My job as a tactician that's how I think, is how can I get this to run as smooth as possible so I can put the least amount of work in fixing it.
Facts.
If I'm putting work in, I want to put work in to upgrade it and make it better. How do I make sure this thing is running flawlessly at the base level?
And see, that's when it comes to a relationship. So let me redact what I said. Like, I'm not saying that a well-oiled machine is bad. Yeah. Like, if you have a well-oiled machine in a relationship, it's not bad. But to have one, you have to have two people who are understanding when it comes to communication. Mm-hmm. You know, and my communication style is probably going to be different from your communication style.
Absolutely.
And so being able to like come to the table with that and really start to understand one another is where you start to get that well-oiled machine that you can build on and you can grow with. And majority of time, when we see these social media relationships and all of this shit on social media and putting your fucking business on social media, you are not communicating. We are not communicating. And this is where we don't have well-oiled machines. We instead have fucking failed relationships, time and time and time and time and time again, because that expectation that everything should just be fine always, like it's fleeting. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. It's not realistic. Like, relationships are work. They are being vulnerable. They are understanding that how I say things might not be receptive to this other person. So I got to figure out how to communicate in a way that this person can receive this, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
You know,
I'm somebody who I'm hype, right? When I talk, I get hype. So most people who know me, when I talk about stuff, I could be yelling and talking at absolute max volume. I'm not even mad. Yeah. I'm just hype. I just talk loud. I talk with my hands. I do all kinds of stuff. And that might be something that somebody is like, absolutely not. So that communication barrier is being stopped because they're not even hearing what I'm saying. It's not getting through to them at all because there's so much of this that's causing them to not even, it's distracting them, it's upsetting them, it's causing them, it's triggering them, whatever the case it is. It's it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not getting to them. And so that communication barrier is that it's going to be both ways. That person feels like they're not being listened to, and you're feeling like that they're not listening to you. Almost kind of like, well, what are you talking about? I listened to everything you just said. Hey, I'm responding to you. No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. And it's because it's and then there's that cross. It's like, well, now you kind of like, well, what the hell's going on? You are, you may be listening to them, and then, but because of how you communicate, it may not be getting through. Other way around is that they may not be communicating what they actually are trying to. They might say that I don't feel like you're listening to me, or I don't feel like but it's not the fact that you may not be listening to them. You may be listening to everything they're saying, but it may not be that you're addressing the issue that they actually are having. And some people don't know that. Some people don't know that, oh, I'm actually upset about this because, and I say as a therapist, about you have an emotion wheel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So explain the emotion wheel for the people in the back.
I mean, essentially what the emotion wheel is like most people only identify with either I'm angry, I'm happy, or I don't give a fuck, or I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, them is the three emotions that most people, I don't care.
Not even sad? Sad not even there too?
Most people don't say they sad. Most people get angry. You know what I mean?
Okay.
As a defense mechanism. Like, at least, especially in men, like, we're taught not to feel, like, vulnerable, sad, hurt. Like, so instead of feeling those things, we just get angry.
Right.
We're like, nah, that pisses me off. That shit's fucked up. You know what I mean? We automatically go to that. And so what the emotion wheel does is it helps to break down, like, what the fuck you're actually feeling. Because anger is a valid emotion, but it's not an initial emotion. Nobody is just like, I'm angry. We usually get angry because we're trying to, like, not allow somebody to penetrate us, our emotional space, our mental space, our physical space, and it allows us to be on guard. When I'm angry, I can fight back. Whether it's verbally, you know what I mean? I can lash out at you, or whether it's physically, I can whoop your ass. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Anger allows for that. It's a survival mechanism. It's actually quite necessary in some situations. But there's so many other emotions we can experience. Like, we could be depressed, we could be sad, we could be hurt, we could feel like irritated, we could feel jealous, we could feel envy, we could feel annoyed, anxious. We could feel so many things, and the emotion will helps to break that down. Even in happy, you know what I mean? I could feel ecstatic, I could feel elated, I could feel jubilant, I could feel so many different things. But like, most of us don't understand what it is we're actually feeling, and we just lump it up into this big old thing. And the moment that we start to actually pinpoint the emotions we experience, we now can start to peel back the layers of how we respond to certain shit. Because how we respond emotionally to things, it's learned very early on in our lives, and we kind of just tack it to that thing. So for most people, anger, what do most people do? At least if we're going to generalize, when somebody's angry, what do they usually do? Yell, lash out, right?
Yup.
That's not how you got to respond. You don't have to respond that way if you're angry. I could be angry and be like, yo, bro, I'm angry. I need to take
you also get them people who are quiet, right? They get so angry that they don't
shut down.
Nothing. They shut down because they know I'm going to flip a switch. Flip, boom!
Yeah, literally though.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where having that level of, and I brought the emotion wheel up is because, like you said, a lot of people don't understand the complexities of their own emotions. And so if you don't understand the complexities of your own emotions, how do you expect someone else to understand them?
It's impossible.
It is impossible. I am the king of telling somebody to their face, listen, my name is not Charles Xavier. I do not read minds. I am not an X-Men. I am not a mutant. Do not ask me to guess some stuff because I'm going to get it wrong. You have to communicate it.
And that's actually a game that people play in relationships. So
no.
segue. Games people play. This is a theoretical approach from transactional analysis. That's the theory. I can't remember who fucking coined that theory, but essentially what transactional analysis points out is that we can communicate from 3 big domains, right? And then there's subdomains of each one. Mm-hmm. We can communicate from our adult, which is going to be healthy communication. I'm communicating very assertively to you.
Right.
So, like, I'm thinking about, like, your emotions. I'm thinking about my emotions. And I'm trying to make it so that we can both understand it, right? That's ideal. Then we got parent. And there's subdomains in parent. There's a critical parent, and there is a fucking something else parent. And I can't think of what it is. But essentially what the parent is, that's going to be trauma that we experienced when we were a kid. Critical parent. Right here, I'm communicating to you like this, like telling you everything that you're doing wrong. I'm on your ass about everything that you're doing wrong. I'm pointing out your wrongs and your shortcomings, and all of those different things. Mm-hmm. Which, when we communicate like that, it's usually aggressive or passive aggressive
or disappointive.
Yeah. And then you have the child, and there's 2 domains with the child. There's a scared child, and there is the free child. Now, we want to have some free child in us, too. Free child is like, that's fun, that's spontaneous, because we don't always want to be in the adult. We want to be able to communicate from that free child where it's like, we're having fun. But then the scared child is like that passive, closed in. I don't really say what I'm feeling. I can't because it's not safe. That's a trauma space, too.
Right.
And so when we break it down in transactional analysis, we start to learn that sometimes a game that people will play is, I'm waiting for you to kick me. I want you to guess what I'm feeling. And if you don't guess right, then I'm going to put it on you.
Yeah, that's the most effed. And I'm going to put that in real world perspectives. If somebody says, guess what's in my hand, and if you get it wrong, I'm going to smack you. I want you to think how well that game going to go over. I want you to think, and I say this because that's how that feels, right? Yeah. When you are talking to this other person and you're trying to make them guess what you're going through or what you're feeling, or setting them up for a certain way. That's what that is. That is because for them, they're like, bruh, why can't you just tell me what's going on? Because when they guess wrong, or they don't handle it the way you wanted them to, when you approach them or come at them, or it's usually met with aggression, it feels like a slap to the face. And so now you're like, well, what the fudge, man? Like, why are you slapping me? Man. It's because you didn't guess what was in my hand, man, or which hand it was in. Well, not only did I not guess which hand it was in, I didn't guess what was in the hand. So I got double slapped. And you're like, so I want that into a real life perspective. So when you think about that, when that's something that crosses your mind, when you do sit there and go, I'm upset and I'm not going to tell her why. She just needs to guess. She should know why. She did something to me, and now she should know that it upset me. And if you're not saying nothing, and they're going about stuff like everything's normal, now you even more upset. I can't believe they acting like nothing happened. Don't they understand?
That's that toxic shit.
That's toxic as hell. That's glorified on social media.
It really is. Eric Byrne. Transactional analysis. Eric Byrne. Games people play. Y'all should check that shit out.
Yeah.
Anyways, it is glorified on social media. A lot of the games, and I'm going to pull this shit up so we can talk about these games, because I think these games are important. And a lot of people think it's okay to play these games in relationships when it's not.
I'm going to tell y'all right now from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of my soul. This is something I've had in my life, a rule in place from the very beginning of everything when it comes to relationships I build with people. Not romantic, just in ones I build with people. Do not play games with me. I play video games. That's it. That's the only games I'm trying to play.
Hop on COD.
We can go a couple rounds in NBA Street. It's fine. But do not play games with somebody like me, because it's a quick way for me to out end the relationship.
Man.
I do not have time. I do not have the energy or the patience to play games. Playing games is not it doesn't help. And it is a fast, quick way to end a relationship with somebody. Not even just romantic. I'm telling you, I've seen it with friends. I've seen it with siblings, with parents, all the above. It will end ties quickly. I am somebody, and I know a lot, well, I've generalized here. I know a lot of men will be the first ones to tell you, I don't play games. Don't play games with me, please. I don't have time for this. because it's too much work. It's too much energy. I just tell me what's wrong. And you will see. There's a joke amongst husbands, right? They go, you'll go, she's yelling at you about something, and you're like, I wonder what the actual problem is, and you're just kind of like, so. But you gotta play the game. You gotta go through the steps. It's exhausting.
Yeah, don't play the game.
Don't play the game.
There's so many different games. So I got these things pulled up right here. Again, I encourage everybody out there, if you looking to have a healthy relationship, go check out Games People Play by Eric Byrne. That shit might be dry to read, but if you're really trying to learn how to maximize in your relationship, this shit'll get you right. But like some of the different games, it's like one is like, "Now I got you, son of a bitch." That's one of the games. It's a setup. We see it all the time. This is this toxic shit, all right? It's the toxic shit. You literally will do some shit, like whether you're a man or a woman, that you literally know is going to pin your partner in a corner so that you can like say, got you.
Yep.
That's toxic as fuck. And it's not going to be conducive to a healthy relationship. Another one is, see what you made me do. We see this all the time. Like, you already know, like, I've played this game before. I won't even lie. I've played it. It's like there's some shit that I don't want to do, and then I'll do it, and then I already know I won't feel good about doing it, and then it's like, yeah, look, see, this is what you made me do. This is what it was. That's that toxic shit.
Yeah.
Toxic as hell.
I have been on the receiving end of that one. I am not the fan of that one. I'm also not a fan of the "got you now, son of a bitch." Like, that's another one. That's the one, and I'm gonna dive into that one just a little bit. Yeah. That one can create trauma, right? Like, I have issues with that one. Like, I was in that for so long that it literally messes me up. Like, I start, if I even think that's a situation, I won't even touch it. I'll be like, nope. I'm not going to risk. I say it, I put it in the real world perspective of it's a bear trap, right? Somebody has set you, somebody's like, hey, let's go hunting. We're going to work together. We're going to hunt. And unbeknownst to you, they set up a bear trap. They know where that bear trap is. And so you're walking and they're just guiding the path. They're just doing it. Everything's normal. Everything's fine. And then next thing you know, you've stepped in this bear trap. Now, their reason for putting you in the bear trap is, well, I wanted to talk to you about what you did last summer. You're like, why couldn't you just talk to me? Why you had to put me in this bear trap? Because I felt like you weren't going to listen. You was going to run away. What? So you put me in a bear trap? Why?
Man.
That's how that feels. It feels like, if from the person who's been in the bear trap, it's like there was so many other ways that we could have gotten here. We didn't have to. I don't have to be in this bear trap. And now I'm in pain. Now I'm hurt. Now I don't trust you. Because now when you want to go out hunting again, all I'm going to think about the whole time is,
that's a setup.
You got a damn setup. You going to hit me with it. It's whatever. I guess it's not going to come. No. It's probably overheating. Maybe that's what it is. Right. I'll have to put like a dummy battery in it. And maybe next time it's not a bear trap. Maybe I'm thinking, okay, I trust you now. We're going to go hunting where there is no ground. We're fine. It's the water. We're going to the water this time. Oh, then guess what? There's something else. So it's, as somebody who's been in that is a bad one. I didn't experience too much of the look at you made. I did, but I didn't come out like scarred from that one.
Yeah. As you were talking about that, you mentioned another game. You said I'm collecting tabs.
Oh man,
that's another one.
The tax collector.
It's called debtor. Like look what I did. Like a person would be like, I did this, but never say anything. And then it's like, look at all this shit that I did for you, and what have you done for me? Also, another one that brings up too is not actually talking about what the fuck is bothering you, and just keeping the ticks. Keeping the ticks. I'm counting it all up until that one time that it's like you remember when Krillin on Dragon Ball Z when he stood for like 10 episodes fucking collecting the fucking give me the strength. You remember that shit?
Yep.
Or no, that was Goku. It was Goku.
No, you're right, but Krillin also helped him.
Yeah. Give me the strength. 10 fucking episodes. Huh? We waiting for this motherfucker to throw this spirit bomb. We're waiting. That's like what it is. And then it's that one moment where it's like you unleash all of the fucking energy on that person, all of it. And they're like, where's all this coming from? Fuck, I just left my shoes on the floor. And it's like, well, you did this, and 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 you did this. And then 20 years ago, you did this, and you did this.
And you like 20 years? Wait a minute. What happened to yesterday? Like, it is that. It's that I always called it the paper trail, the tally. Well, it's like, well, yeah, on July 15th, you did this. On July 18th, you did this. And mind you, we sitting in November. And I'm like,
why you ain't talk to me back then?
Why didn't you say something?
Yeah.
And it's usually something that, and like, in a lot of those situations, a lot of those things, I will easily be the first to tell you, just if you bring it up ahead of time, bring it up. And this is all speaking if you're dealing with somebody who's rational and reasonable, is that if you said, hey, Greg, I didn't really like how you made that joke to your sister about me. It made me feel definitely kind of insecure. I didn't really like the fact that it sounded like you just like, oh, you're just with me because you're bored. Like, I really feel hurt by that. If Greg is the respectable man that he's supposed to be, he'll be like, I'm so sorry. It was, we were chopping it up, making jokes. It's, it's nothing serious. I apologize that I hurt your feelings. It's not true. I don't believe that, or whatever it is. Yeah. They're usually upfront, apologetic about it, and then that's it. It's moved forward. But instead, now you sat on the fact that Greg said this joke with his sister at Thanksgiving. It's Valentine's Day, and you've been sitting over here just tallying everything because now other stuff has become an irritant. Stuff that you may not have even been irritated by or bothered by beforehand, it is now added to the tally mark.
Facts.
So then, when all of a sudden you blow up at Greg and you hit him with the papers like Phoenix Wright, he's sitting over here looking through them.
Nigga say Phoenix.
This right here, look here. For those who've never played Ace Attorney, y'all don't understand that. But Phoenix Wright is a lawyer and he throws papers at people in the game. But that's what happens. And so now Greg's sitting here looking like, now he's going to be feeling hurt. Because he's like, well, if I hurt you all these times, if I said something if I did something, why wouldn't you say something to me? Why would you not trust me enough that we could have resolved this? Or it could have been a misunderstanding. So then you've let this misunderstanding become a monster and build a wall in between your relationship. And now you're like, oh no, because that's time you won't get back. All right, I'm a firm believer in somebody who is, you can waste my money, but don't waste my time. Ooh. I prefer you not do either of those.
Either of them shits.
But the thing is that you can always make more money. The one currency you will never, ever be able to get back is time. You can't. Unless you...
What's that movie with Justin Timberlake?
Timeless, something like that, where they was wearing watches and they're
buying
like...
Buying
that time? Mm-hmm. That ain't real, baby. That is science fiction at its absolute finest.
For now.
But yeah, you cannot buy time. And so you've spent time being angry, right? You've spent time feeling resentful, feeling hurt. When if you say something ahead of time, if you talk about that. Now, it's one thing if you talk about it and they don't do anything about it or things haven't changed or so on. Then you're dealing with a complete different situation. But not addressing it, not saying something to that person, you don't give them an opportunity, which then also follows along with that, now I got you now, right? Because now you've set it up this way and now these things have happened and now you might set them up, maybe intentionally or unintentionally. And so now the fact that you've set them up in a situation where now they're in the bear trap. And now you put them in this bear trap because of what they did to you. And you're like, looking at them like Dylon, talking about a sugar cookie, man. That's what you're mad about? A sugar cookie?
And that Cambodian breast milk.
Ting, ting, ting.
But I think, look, I think in reality, we all play these games. And like I said, there's so many of them. And what we have to understand is the reason that we play these games is because we experienced something in our lives that kind of like violated either our trust or we experienced some type of traumatic situation. And it might not be a big old traumatic situation, but traumatic enough to where, psychologically, we kind of got screwed over. And so we're trying to make sure we don't get screwed over again. Or we're trying to make sure that it's not me that's hurting. It's you that's hurting because I've been hurt so many times. I got to protect my emotional space.
Yeah.
And it takes like being able to acknowledge, like, when we see ourselves playing these games or when we see ourselves not communicating, like, okay, I'm fucking up. I don't know how. I can't. I got to do something about this. I got to learn how to communicate this shit. That's why I think it's so important to, like, pay attention to your mental health or tap in with, like, a professional who can help you. Not all professionals are going to know how to do this. There's some professionals out there who fucking suck.
I've been cussed out by one, so.
They fucking suck. So, like, don't just think, like, you went to one and they didn't help you out, that, you know, therapy ain't it. Like I said, like, you might find 2 or 3 who are dog shit, who really don't know how to communicate themselves, so they can't teach you how. But it's important still to learn how to communicate effectively and healthy in a relationship if you want that shit to flourish and thrive.
And again, that goes for all relationships. That friendships,
platonic, like
anything. Business, all the above. Yeah. If I got mad at Payton, if I sat there and was like, you know what? I'm mad because every time I come in here, you don't ever offer me nothing to drink.
I'm punching that nigga.
Like, could you imagine if I just one day just sat there, he sits down and I go, that's enough. I've been sitting here thirsty for weeks and you've done nothing. You done sat here and drank all your delicious drinks in front of me. I can't believe you would be so insensitive. Payton would be like,
nigga, just ask.
Nigga, you can get out of my office today. You're like talking to me like that? Is you? Or what? Or he might, depending on Payton's background, my reaction might cause him. It might cause him trauma right there on the spot.
Trigger me.
It might sit there and he might be like, I can't even. It could end the friendship right there. That reaction could end a friendship that one time because it triggered him to go, I don't need that in my life. I don't need something like that. I can't be around people who are like that. When it could be ways to go about it. I mean, I could always make the joke and go, bro, your stuff look delicious. Where am I going? Where you gonna give me that? Or something like that. Mind you, Payton has never done that. He asked me every time.
I ask him every time.
Every time. And he matter of fact, he double check and make sure. He like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? I got 8 cups in here right now. I can go get you anything. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. But it's having these things is that being able to communicate effectively, being able to truly understand just your own feelings, not even the other way around yet. We ain't even got that far.
Yeah.
Just being able to convey your feelings is effectively and accurately is going to help you in the long run.
And I want to say where a lot of people fuck up when they're trying to convey like their feelings is they get feelings and fucking thoughts confused. Right? A lot of times when we want to tell somebody how we, like, what's going on with us, we say, like, I feel like you don't understand me, but you didn't say anything about what you feel. You just said what you thought, what your perception is.
Yeah.
You know? If I'm going to say I feel, I need to say I feel sad. I feel happy. I feel melancholy or melancholic. I feel fucking exuberant. I feel jubilant. I need to say a feeling. So when we're conveying feelings to somebody, like, we need to make sure that it's an emotion that we're, like, communicating and not a thought or a perception. That's where people fuck up. When we communicate thoughts and perceptions, those are going to be left to the fucking receiver's interpretation. If I tell you, right, if I say, I feel like you don't give a fuck about anything but yourself.
All right, and immediately I'm going to go, what the fudge you talking about? I do, blah. Yeah, and so
because your experience and your perception is going to be different from mine.
Absolutely.
But if I say I feel misunderstood, I feel overlooked, not because of, I feel overlooked in response to, and now I have to say something specific that you did.
Right.
And I have to make sure that I only talk about my perception, mine, not yours. I can't put my perception onto you.
If I tell Payton that he is an insensitive person, that is my perception of him. Payton might be the most sensitive, in person for you or for anybody. But if I say I feel, like, there's also not even just confusing thoughts, but saying it as fact, right? That's what the other thing that comes into play is that you speak your feelings as facts, but that's not Facts is facts. There is no interpretation of facts. There is, it either happened or it didn't. It's either the truth or it's not. It's not his truth, her truth. Those are sides. Those are feelings. Those are experiences. But there is no other way you look at 2 + 2. It's 4, no matter how you cut it. If I take 2, put it over here, and I take 2 out, put it over there, it's still 4.
Yeah.
That is what a fact is. So me saying, Payton, you're insensitive. I said that as a fact. Like, I can prove that. Even if there is an insensitive moment, even if that's still my perception, somebody else could sit there and be like, I don't think what he did was wrong at all.
Boom.
And then they're like, well, you an insensitive bitch too. Like,
for real though.
But that's exactly what that is that perception is not facts. Feelings are not facts. Facts are facts. And we live in a day and time when that stuff has been kind of blended together, right? We've changed the word what truth means, right? We've changed how people say, well, this is their truth. This is their experience. This is what they feel. This is what has happened to them. This is what their experience is. But somebody's experience does not mean truth.
Doesn't mean it goes all the way.
A blanketed truth.
Yeah.
It is but what happens is that people use that experience or that side of things as a blanketed truth. If I say cops are corrupt.
Oh shit.
That's
oh,
it.
Shit.
Whoop, whoop,
oh,
they coming.
Shit. Oh shit.
If I say cops are corrupt, I give examples of some cops being corrupt. That's my experience, but that is not the true statement. The true statement is there are some bad cops.
I'm gonna let him have that one. I ain't digging in on that.
But there are some bad cops. Same way there are some bad lawyers. There are some bad teachers. If I say our teachers are stupid, they don't know anything, it's not the case, right? They just may not know what that person may need. But to say that blanketed feeling as an overall generalized statement is that's where the blending comes in, right? They'll say black men say it all the time. Black women got bad attitudes.
I don't say that shit. Oh shit, he pulling out some fucking controversial shit. I ain't saying nothing.
But that's the statement, right? You hear it all over the place. You've been hearing it for years, right? That black women. This reason why black men don't want to mess with black women is because they got too much attitude and they not submissive and blah 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 blah. And the fact is that that's not true. That's not. You can't sit there and speak on a whole gender and race of women that about a fact, and they'll argue it like it's fact. They'll sit there and point out and say, this is where black women are wrong for this. This is where this happens. Same thing with white people. All white people are racist. These are not facts. Even though you may have experienced racism from a white person, that doesn't mean that all of them are this way.
Listen, y'all, that shit is, look, we could dedicate a whole series to that shit. Not just an episode, a whole series.
A whole ongoing series.
Whole series.
But these things are not, the point of that is saying that because their experiences are feelings.
My reality is not going to be your reality, and there is no blanket reality because it's my reality. But that's that toxic shit that sometimes happens, lots of times happens in relationships that causes for miscommunication. Mm-hmm. You see, if I have an issue that's going on, right, and I started off from my perception. If I say from my perception, I feel this in response to this. Now it's going to be easier for somebody else to receive that because I'm not saying you an insensitive motherfucker. You know, from my perception, I feel overlooked because you said this. I mean, you can still communicate the same thing, but it's different verbiage. And
that verbiage it changes.
Oh, fuck.
It changes stuff.
Yeah.
Because now it's now addressing a problem, not attacking a person. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's the whole point. That's right. That's that problem solving thing when it comes to communication. A lot of communication when it comes to discourse is problem solving. Right? That's 9 times out of 10 what it is. It's problem solving. It's either problem solving or you want to express a feeling that you have, which then you get guys like me where you express an issue of something that I've done and then you'll be like, but I don't want you to change anything. I just want you to know I'm upset. I'm like, but that's setting for me, somebody, I'm like, that's difficult because you're upset that I did something, but you don't want me to stop it. You just want me to know that you upset about it. Well, if I do it again, you're going to obviously get upset about it. Yeah. So then...
what was the point?
So then what's the point? So either I change it or you just want me to know you're mad? Like, and so when you have that, but then there's that communication, right? It's, well, I don't understand that. I don't understand the point of that. If you're upset that I did something, like example being, we'll just use the same example. I'm upset that you didn't bring me any water, but I don't want you to bring me water next time. I just want to let you know I'm upset.
That's going to be a you problem. That's a you problem then.
But so then what's the, like, what's the point then? If I want nothing to change.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And so, but then now that's kind of put Payton in the situation. And it's like, well,
fuck you want me to do?
Nothing. I don't want you to do nothing. I just want you to know that when you don't bring me water, I'm going to get upset. Yes. But I don't want you to bring me water.
That's, okay, so that's another game right there.
That's another game.
That's a kick me. It's called kick me. You literally, on all fours, looking back like.
Go ahead.
It's right there. It's right there.
Please kick me.
I'm mad. Why are you mad? Because you didn't do this. Okay, well, you want me to do it? Nope. Nope.
Hey, yo, son. Hey, yo, I be ready to fight off the rip. I'm going to tell you right now. You didn't bring me any water. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go get you a glass. I don't want you to give me a glass of water. So then what you want me to do? I just want you to know I'm mad. You didn't bring me nothing. Well, I'm sorry. I will next time, I'll make sure I have water for you. I don't want you to do that.
I don't even like water.
I don't even like water. You just didn't ask if I wanted any water. For real. That's exactly what that is.
That's that toxic shit.
That's toxic. And it's not when there's a time that's playful, right? That's just playful. That's being cute. That's being funny. Y'all can mad laugh. There's a difference when that's real. And that's something that goes on. And that's toxic. You can't do that. That is infuriating.
That comes from that just comes from like lack of like security in yourself, low self-confidence, low self-esteem, and you feel like you're being overlooked. You see, all of these games that people play come from internal conflict that's trying to be coped with and like masked by outside forces. Whether that be me setting up situations and circumstances so that you cannot notice this internal conflict that I'm battling, or I'm projecting the internal battle that I have onto you in some way, shape, or form. That's where these games come from.
And so I'm going to actually dive deeper. We're going to go into that one.
Go ahead,
right? So then it goes that, all right, so now it comes from, I feel like I'm being overlooked, right? So now here's my thought process. Well, now he doesn't want to give me any water. He obviously doesn't care about me at all. Like, why would, if he was so worried about me, if he cared enough about me, he would at least offer it. But obviously because he hasn't offered it, he doesn't want it. So because he doesn't want it, I don't even know why I'm here. That right there, that whole sense of spiraling, you gaslit yourself. There's a bunch of thoughts that came to your head. When you know what Payton thinking about? Man, I gotta figure out what the heck I'm gonna eat this for dinner tonight. I gotta go to the store. I gotta go pick up some fish. All right, we gotta get this podcast going. Oh man, I need to go ahead and grab me some ice. Like he's somewhere else. He ain't thinking about what monster is creeping up in my head, whispering to my ear, talking about. Obviously, he don't give a damn about this podcast. If he gave a damn about this podcast, he'd ask me for a cup of water. Like
that shit sounds like attachment and abandonment issues. That's what that sounds like.
Does that sound familiar to y'all? Do you know somebody? I'm willing to bet at least $3 you know somebody who's like that.
If you do, go ahead and drop down in the comments and let us know about that.
I'm gonna put my Cash App in the comments. Y'all go ahead and give me that $3. But for real though, like that's really, it's real life people's thoughts. And so because of that, how many times you sat there and told somebody, what are you talking about? Yo, have you even asked him? No, I ain't gonna ask him nothing. Why should I? He should just be able to. No.
Stop playing them games.
Stop playing them games.
So look, because we're getting close to time.
This might be a multi-episode thing.
Yeah, this just might. But I want to leave our viewers with something from this episode to chew on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To chew on, to sip on, whatever the fuck y'all do. I don't know what y'all do. Something. I'm going to leave y'all with something. Look, if you find yourself in relationships, situationships, at work, you know, and you're running into conflict that can't be resolved, or you feel like people don't understand you, or they don't get you, or like they're purposefully doing things that are destroying the relationship, and so you have to like put up protective factors that usually pin people in corners or distance yourself from relationships that you want to have. I want you to think about seeing a goddamn therapist. I want you to look like.
Look, at the end of these episodes, you have to understand, Peyton's main thing is y'all need some damn therapy or some Jesus. Those are your two options.
Or Jesus, and most of y'all only get Jesus on Sunday, but we ain't gonna
Easter,
go
on Easter,
Christmas. You know, we ain't gonna go there though. Look,
but no, yeah,
you need to like tap in. Look, a lot of these things are really driven by how you are treating your mental health. Like, we got to start treating our mental health like our physical health. When we don't feel well, if something ain't right, you know, we not just, you don't just take the whiskey anymore and rub it in the mouth and make sure you're good. Like, we're not doing that. You don't got to take the shot of tequila. Like, you're going into the doctors. You're setting up an appointment. If your mental health is fucked up, make sure you're setting up appointments with a therapist, with a professional that can help you get through that shit. And remember, not every therapist is going to be legit. So if your therapist ain't legit, go ahead, see him a couple times. But then go to another one. If they're not meeting that need, if you know your communication is fucking off and relationships are being destroyed, yo, get a professional in the middle so that y'all can solve that shit. Because if you don't, what you're going to do is you're going to teach everybody around you that this communication cycle that you're going through, that this toxic ass shit that you're going through is okay. If you got kids and you hopping from relationship to relationship, you're going to teach your kids that shit is okay. And you want this happily ever after. Guess what? You're setting your kids up to not have a happily ever after. They're going to have the same type of shit as you.
And one of the big things is that, like, it's a cycle, right? It's something that if you don't address it, it's going to continuously be the same thing. And so, yeah, like, we're advocates of therapists, right? Like, he's a therapist. I'm friends with therapists, as you can see, but I also have been to therapy. And
I don't like this nigga. I'm just playing.
But there's skills. There's skills in place, right? There are a lot of therapists are equipped with certain things. It's real easy to know, oh no, I got a brace on my knee right now. Why? It's because it's easy to feel and see that my knee is acting up. But even though on the outside, if you looked at my knee, it looks fine. On the inside, it hurts. It's stiff. It's got problems. If I cut my hand, I can physically see the cut. But in our heads, you don't see the damage. You can't physically go like, oh, well, look at that. You just can't just look at a picture. Somebody could look at an x-ray of my knee and be like, your stuff jacked. But not everybody's going to be able to just look at a picture of your brain and go, something's wrong here, right? And I can assure you, 90% of this world is not equipped for the things that are in this world. Mm-mm. And you are not from any fault of your parents or your grandparents or whoever raised you. It's because sometimes most of them, 90% of them wasn't equipped for the stuff. And so what happens is that we get thrown out here and everybody's just floundering around. So you gotta talk to somebody. Get the skills. Even if you go to therapy for a little while. Or go to someone, not someone who knows what they're talking about.
If you need that Reiki healer, go ahead and get you that Reiki healer.
Find someone that can teach you the proper ways to handle your stress, your trauma, and your communication. Those things, having somebody to teach you how to handle those in a healthy, constructive way will take you beyond further than you could possibly imagine. Yeah. So tune in next time when we dive deeper into relationships and how to recognize what's good, what's bad, what's ugly, and when you the problem. I've been your boy, Brandon.
And I'm Peyton. And I just want to say, stop being toxic.
We out.